How's it going, Starseekers? My name's Luke and welcome back to the channel, where today I'm bringing you a hot new review for a game called Hentai vs Evil. It's an arcade style first person shooter where you get to play as one of three saucy anime girls, dress them up in a variety of cute costumes, or nothing at all, and then tear your way through hordes of zombies, Shrek pigs and Grim Reapers with a variety of weapons. Now, going solely off the title, it's clear that the game is aiming to target a particular audience, but does Hentai vs Evil have anything more to offer other than its scantily clad cartoon protagonists? In this review I aim to answer that question, so lock up those bedroom doors, crack out the vegetable oil and let's get started. So Hentai vs Evil drops you straight into the main menu, where right away we get our first taste of hentai in the form of this pound of pixelated flesh with a featureless face clad in a black bikini. Now I will clarify something right away for those of you who are more about the hentai and less about the evil. In the bottom corner you'll see that the Y button activates uncensored mode, which basically removes the top layer of clothing from our protagonist, but that's about all you're getting in this game, and I'm not going to be playing the game in uncensored mode for obvious reasons. Now this wouldn't be a true hentai game if we weren't able to customise our waifu, and so the dress up menu allows us to tailor her to our own personal preference. Here we can adjust the size of the booty and the boobs, modify her height and select from a few different hairstyles and colours, but when it comes to clothing, unfortunately the wardrobe is pretty bare and there are actually very few options available. We have a couple of different costumes, none of which are customisable, and we also get a few different cat ears, but that's about it, and from what I've seen there are no unlockable costumes. Now once you're all happy with your character's appearance, you can then get down to actually playing the game, and Hentai vs Evil features 3 maps and 2 game modes, those being Rescue and Survival. So far as the story goes, you may as well forget about it as there really isn't one, but if you've chosen to play this game then I highly doubt you care, and it's likely that the only thing you're interested in is freeing the other 2 anime chicks, if only to see what they look like in the buff. To do this though, you're going to have to play Rescue mode, and while 2 of the 3 maps do unlock the other girls, the last map actually does diddly squat. Now regardless of the mode or map that you select, whenever you start a new game, you're dropped into the level and offered a choice of 3 weapons, these being a shotgun, an AK-47 and an M4. The shotgun deals more damage but has a shorter range and a much lower ammo capacity, and there's not much difference between the 2 assault rifles, with each one having a 30 round mag and slightly different fire rates. So your objective in rescue mode is simple: head towards the big pink pillar of light that shines into the sky to locate and free your trapped friends, but in your way stands an army of undead who are all out to get you. So far as enemy variety goes, the game's rather limited lineup consists of zombies, of which there are a few varieties depending on the map, big fat Shrek pigs who take a few extra shots to take down, and floating Grim Reapers who are the hardest to take down and soak up plenty of your bullets. As you move through the levels, enemies will spawn at random around you, usually popping into existence right before your very eyes, and in all honesty, enemy AI is pretty terrible. Each of the enemy types is simply programmed to move towards you and attack when you get within range, but they can be easily avoided by using the sprint button, and they don't appear to have any sort of real pathing, so obstructions will usually stop them in their tracks. Now the maps in Hentai vs Evil are all pretty large, and you can just sprint past all of the enemies, but the cage containing your ally won't open until you've killed a specific number of Reapers. To assist you with this rather minor task, you can break open floating boxes containing pickups which buff your bullets for a short period of time, and there are 2 of these available, the first being a red fire buff which deals damage over time, and the second a blue buff which causes your shots to instantly kill enemies. You can also find health pickups which fully recover your health, and in addition to the 3 starter weapons, you can also pick up the sniper rifle and grenade launcher weapons, though I do suggest sticking with either the AK or the M4 as the power-ups work better with them weapons. Now while each map does provide a little bit of variety to gameplay, in all honesty they really don't do much to make it more interesting. Combat in the game is pretty repetitive and lacks any real excitement due to the poorly programmed AI, The weapons and power-ups are all pretty uninspiring, and the visuals are okay, but the frame rate is all over the show. Overall, the game feels pretty cheap, like it's been pieced together from Unity assets. And while I'm pretty sure that this is the case with Hentai vs Evil, and I'm not going to waste my time locating the assets for this one, I did notice that the city map used some of the same assets found in another East Asia Soft published game called Drunken Fist. Now, completing all 3 rescue levels took me about 30 minutes, though only the town and the pirate levels are actually required to unlock the 2 additional characters. Just like with the first character, you'll be pleased to know that you can activate the uncensored mode to get a peek at the bird-bouncing chebs, and so far as customization goes for the new girls, you have about the same amount of options available, with each character having just a few different costumes, along with the same cute cattier headwear. Now once you're done with rescue mode, the only other mode available is called survival, and as you'd expect, this mode requires you to survive for as long as possible as enemies continuously spawn around you. Now the game does have online leaderboards displaying the top survival scores, but to be honest, they're pretty pointless, as enemy AI offers no sort of challenge, and it took me about 30 seconds to find a spot in each of the maps where the enemies just could not get to me, so online scores basically come down to how long you're willing to keep the game running. There are also 2 difficulties in the game, those being easy and normal, but it appears that the only difference between the 2 is that normal difficulty increases the damage that enemies deal and very little else. So overall I found Hentai vs Evil offered about as much depth and quality as I expected, that is to say very little. Gameplay is repetitive and lacks challenge, the visuals and audio are borderline mediocre, and if you're playing the game just to satiate your appetite for cartoon boobs, then there are many other cheaper options available. When it comes to my own personal rating of the game, I'm going to be giving Hentai vs Evil 1 out of 5 bras. Hentai vs Evil is not the worst game I've played this year, but it's still a pretty poor title, and you're certainly scraping the bottom of the barrel with this one when it comes to picking a third-person shooter on the Switch. That is, of course, unless you're just looking for boobies. And that's about it for this review of Hentai vs Evil on the Nintendo Switch. Make sure you hit that like button if you enjoyed it, let me know your thoughts and opinions on the game in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel as I upload new Switch game reviews and content every few days. For now though, I just want to thank you all once again for watching, and until next time, take care of yourselves and game on.